Bonjour, Stéphane. So this is for a French and African TV channel. I don't know if you have a few French words that you brought back from Paris or no?
Nui, nui.
That's a good start.
I got.
Well, my question is going to be in English. Actually, it's about another Bay Area personality that you support. You endorsed Kamala Harris at the DNC end of August. What is your thought on the campaign? How do you feel 1 month ahead of the election? And what do you expect of tomorrow's vice presidential debate? Everything's political for French people.
No,
you know?
it's all good. Obviously, supporting her is an honor. A sophisticated leader that I, expect and have confidence she can, lead our country and provide obviously hope, inspiration, unity. Obviously, there's a lot of tough conversations that need to be addressed in our country, and a lot of progress that needs to be made. But a level of decency and humanity at the top from our leadership is a must, and I think she checks that box. I know she has a great opportunity with the rest of the campaign leading up until the actual election to dig into her, politics and the way that she wants to impact our country, in the most powerful office in the world. And I know she'll be able to kind of do that in a meaningful way that provides confidence that she has a great plan. But first and foremost, is she going to run the entire country and be a leader for everybody? I feel like, she checks that box, and you got to start there, and that's why I have confidence in her.
Steph, hi. I know how important your foundation is, which is based in Oakland. You talk about what it means, unfortunately, for the Oakland A's. They just, had their last game, and they're the last professional major team to leave the city, and what that means going forward for the city.
I think overall it's a sad situation because sports franchises in any city are to borrow a line from a good friend of mine. It's a sense of hope and inspiration for a community. Whenever you start a year, it's like a way to galvanize, again, that hope and that unity and that togetherness and having something to look forward to, and not just what it does for the economics of that city and what Oakland has meant to me is to say the least. It's been huge, just in the way that I came up in this league and being able to play in front of that fan base for those 10 years, and knowing the history of the A's, the Raiders, and the Warriors there. It sucks, but to your point, around what me and Aisha are trying to do within Oakland, it's a matter of supporting the community that supported us when we were coming up, and making sure that we still plant our flag there and have a significant presence there. But it is unfortunate that there aren't any more professional teams that are representing Oakland. Specifically just because of how much history there is around sports and that fandom and that sense of pride of being from Oakland. So I don't know how you kind of work around how tough it is, but for me and Aisha, obviously we want to make sure we continue our work there, especially through the school district, and creating opportunities for the next generation to achieve their full potential. But other than that, you have to admit how sad it is for everybody.
Stephen over here. How you doing, man?
Doing great.
Good. This is for you like the longest off season you've had in a long time since your very early career. What are the physical, mental, emotional, benefits to having such a long stretch, and how eager are you to get back on the court to play a basketball game in the NBA?
It's weird because the timing of it, knowing I had the Olympics this summer, it didn't feel like it. It felt like, you're trying to put the pieces together why, you're done playing in April. Physically, you get a break. Mentally, you're watching playoff basketball, still kind of in that grind of assessing where you are, where you need to be to, be one of those teams that are playing into June. And then I took 2 weeks off, started working out, getting ready for the Olympics. I had a 6-week run playing in the Olympics, and these last 4 weeks trying to balance rest and still staying sharp physically and mentally to get ready for a season. So it tested me in a different way. Thankfully, I had the Olympics to look forward to, so I didn't have just 5 months of sitting at home. And I think that'll hopefully allow me to get off to a good start individually. But to your question, I'm super excited to be back and to figure out what this team, needs to do to win, and just the challenge of putting all the pieces together. We got a lot of new faces and a lot of guys trying to take next steps in their careers, and it's gonna be fun from day one tomorrow when we hit the court and start getting our reps in. Because every day, we say it all the time in training camp, it is a way of thinking if you want to be great in this league, but it is true for us more than ever. Every day does matter for us to be able to figure this thing out.
When Draymond was in here earlier, he said that in some ways the new additions, the new vets coming in, is somewhat reminiscent of 3 years ago when Otto and Gary and Nemanja came in. Do you see similarities there, and what do you think of the roster as it is right now?
Yeah, very similar for sure. That's a good comparison. Guys that have been around the league in different situations and I think fit the style that we try to play, even though we do need to evolve and have a different look on offense and defense. We've had 2 years of kind of some stagnant ball at times, but still enough that we're convinced that we can be a good team. Obviously, injuries aside, you want to have everybody available, but I think pieces fit, and to your point, a good balance of youth and veteran presence that can hopefully get us off to a good start. And the good news is like I'm coming into this training camp with an open mind of how we're supposed to play. I know there's a warrior mentality and culture of how we do things. There's a system that we ran for a decade plus that has worked. Doesn't necessarily mean that's how this team needs to play. We have to have kind of antennas up on and an openness to accept what this team's strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and kind of lean into those. And that's including our youth, because we need them to play at an extremely high level for us to be the team we want to be.
What's up, Steph? You were part of the conversation this summer trying to get kind of a bigger name in here. Paul George, obviously one of those. It didn't happen. How comfortable are you where this franchise is at, where this team is at in the bigger picture with championship in mind, pretty urgently?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not the team that's holding the title at the end of the year, and even I'm sure they were thinking about it, Boston was like, you always are trying to get better. And you've been around this league long enough, from day to day, week to week, month to month, season to season, what that actually means for your team can change pretty quickly. So, you go into free agency, PG's deciding whether he wants to opt in or not. Okay, we definitely should take that meeting. And I was a part of that process. The Laurie stuff, like, the whole league's wondering what's going to happen there, and how real trade talks are. And I don't ever get caught up in that and the noise around it. When something's material, usually I know about it and we have conversations. I'm not the ultimate decision maker, but you give your input. That's how the whole process goes. And even our free agent signings this year, all 3 guys that we brought in, all our veterans, Buddy, Kyle and Melt, like, established veterans who know how to play the game and are good, pieces that you need to be a championship type team. Does that mean we're there? I don't know. You ask all 30 teams last season, do you have championship, aspirations? You probably take 8 of them serious, 12 of them, you're like, maybe, and only 1 gets to say, yeah, we had championship aspirations. So I think we're in that position where we can be a relevant team early and give ourselves a chance to compete, and then assess where we are, because that's what every team has to go through. We just have the shadow of, to your point, like the expectations that we're supposed to be in that conversation. I want to win, and I know everybody in the locker room wants to do their part to help make it happen. So that's how we're approaching the season.
Hi, Steph. What will it mean to honor Al Attles this season? And just, going back to your early days in Oakland, he was a face at most games. And just to give your heart and soul to an organization for more than 60 years, can you imagine that and just sort of his legacy now?
Yeah, it's special to have the patch and his name's on our court down in the facility. And to your point, he's such an ambassador for the entire Bay Area. The ultimate Golden State Warrior. You see his face on the wall in our practice facility. You see his name on the court. You see his number and his name in the rafters. And we know the story extremely well of what he meant on and off the court to the organization. So I don't know if any gesture will go far enough to honor him and what he meant to the entire Bay. But every conversation I had with him, he was very appreciative of his place within the organization and what he stood for, what he meant. And I hope to be in that position where you're part of a community like that for as long as he was, because it's special and it's very unique and it's legendary. The impact that he left. So this is a very simple but amazing gesture, and hopefully it goes broader than that for sure all year long.
Stefan, good to see you. I guess following up on that, being in the same place for a long time, we haven't spoken to you since your contract extension. How important was that for you to get that done? And as you've talked so much about, it feels like over the past couple of months, just maintaining you staying here in San Francisco.
Yeah, no secret. That's always been it always has been and still is a goal of mine to be a Warrior for life, to stay competitive throughout that process. And I know it's kind of unheard of, the short list of guys that have been in that position. Honestly, the ability to kind of just let that be known with the decision to extend and not let that be a distraction or be a talking point all year long, no matter what really happens throughout this season, throughout next season, the third year after that. All of my energy is spent on preparing myself to play at a very high level, to do my part as part of this team to win, and everything else will reveal itself as time goes on. That's kind of the way I want to approach it, and I'm very confident in the fact that being here and being a relevant winning team is possible. And until I'm proven otherwise, that's the way I'm moving forward.
And you mentioned being open to changes on style and things like that. And Draymond was in here talking about how for so many years it was always the same thing heading into the year. And this year it's not, and it can actually be a good thing. Is there something about heading into a new chapter of this organization, of this team, without Clay, but opening other possibilities and saying we actually do have to change something, and it almost feels like there's an obvious opportunity to do so?
Yeah, I think you get smacked in the face and you don't make the playoffs. That's all the real, message you need, or reminder you need that, again, we have a way of doing things in terms of how we approach, practices, games, the level of competition you need to have. But when it comes down to, your X's and O's and the style and all that type of stuff, being open to, evolving and pivoting and figuring out especially how the league continues to evolve as well. Like, we're the hunters amongst many other teams, and what can this team do to maximize every skill set that we have in that locker room? That's the challenge for us. Some new faces on the coaching staff. Like you said, first time me, Clay, and Draymond haven't been together as teammates. Whatever narrative you want to kind of key in on, it's for us to win, you got to think things differently. Doesn't mean you're not going to see some consistencies with how we've played before, but featuring some of the young guys and sets that puts them in a position to be successful. The different rotations that'll get us in position to compete with the best teams in the league. Like, we have to be able to figure that out and got to do it quickly.
For your first quick one, Steph, over here. What'd you think of Kerr doing the night at the DNC?
I've seen it. I've seen it at the DNC. I've seen it at the President's Cup in golf. I've seen it all over. Messi did it. I think Steve takes the cake on knowing, and that was a good time to pull it at the end of a great speech, and getting some good energy in the building. Siwoo Kim, shout out to you. I appreciate him doing it, even though I told him he's got to remind himself about time and score. And knowing when you pull a night out, you got to win. But yeah, it's fun to know, like, especially like you said with Steve at the DNC, is representing America and coming off the Olympics. It was and him being there, obviously, as our coach. He got free pass to do it for sure.
And I'll just say, Draymond mentioned that what struck him watching the Olympics, you at the Olympics, was how the other players on the team were reacting to it for the first time. I know it's you, so maybe you can't quite speak exactly about it, but what is it like when you have just that last shot against France? You have LeBron and KD over on the other side, and I think they're open, but you're taking that shot. You think
they were open. Yeah. They were 100% open.
What is going through your mind when you're taking that shot? You have Batum and the other guy all over you, and knowing that KD and LeBron are just fine with you taking that shot.
I wouldn't say that either, because I read body language pretty well. When I watched it back, I got trapped. I threw it to K. Braun was open on the wing, on the swing, but K threw it back to me. So when he did that, that's when your muscle memory takes over. I'm already in motion and do my move or whatever. I see the two guys, but I'm already in rhythm. As long as I get it off, I feel like I'm going to make it. But I see both of them as soon as I'm shooting their hands up, and they both went like this. Like, they didn't expect me to shoot it. I'm sure they were ready for a pass back to the weak side, but as soon as it went in, seeing Bron do the gesture, seeing the guys on the bench, K threw his head back, and I was kind of in amazement. Like, that was the beauty of that team too, because the energy that we showed and the emotion that we showed in the Serbia game on the comeback and down the stretch in the Olympics, like, it mattered to everybody to get that done, and everybody knew the sense of urgency of the moment, and it was a memory for a lifetime for sure. So it's nice the way it finished for me personally, but we don't get there without all 12 guys on that team, and it was definitely something I'll remember for forever.
Stephen, obviously, Buddy and Clay, as offensive players, kind of have similar profiles, shoot threes, move around a lot, but obviously you don't have the history you had with Clay. What's it going to take, do you think, to get you and Buddy in sync, whether he's coming off the bench or whatever, because obviously they want to be able to play both you guys at the same time. So,
I mean, we'll figure that out. It's on the list of many things to kind of work through when it comes to, again, the openness of how we're going to play, what's being asked of everybody individually, with their role. The different rotations that we'll experiment in training camp, preseason games, and maybe early into the year. But for Buddy, he shoots the ball. Like, you shoot open shots, you play within the system, be a threat to score. Whenever he's out there, and that'll solve itself. Obviously we need a defensive mindset as well when it comes to all five guys, no matter who you're out there with. But play with a couple pickup sessions with him. Dude's a shooter. He's confident in his game, and we need that because that's such a valued commodity in the league. Having a knockdown shooter that can space the floor and somebody that you always got to know where he is. So I'm not too worried about that, but it's on the list of all the things we have to figure out as a team to put it all together.
Hello, Kendra. Hello, everyone.
Draymond,
it's good to see you as well. What's up, man?
This team is not used to these long off seasons like you had this off season. What was that like for you? Because you guys are usually, running around until June and stuff.
It was weird. You kind of worked out, or took a break, worked out, got bored, took another break, started back working out. But just did a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with basketball. Spent a lot of time with family. Got a lot of stuff done on the business side. So, just try to take advantage of the time, but it was definitely weird. It was long.
Was there enough time to like physically refresh a little bit?
Yeah, you definitely, within reason as much as you can. It's funny because I was telling my trainer, we were lifting yesterday, and he's like, how your body feel? It's like, I feel good. He's like, all right, so you're 100%. I'm like, I'll never be 100%. Like, that'll never happen for me. Like, but, within reason of 13 years of basketball, I feel great, And so, yeah, you try to let your body recover as much as you can, but after all the wear and tear, I don't think you ever see 100% again.
And the last thing is, how much did you personally miss the postseason? I mean, that's what you guys play for.
I miss it a lot. I tend to play my best basketball that time of year, so to not kind of have that outlet, if you will, that's you go the whole season looking forward to that, and to not play in it, and it's never fun. But we're about 6 months removed from not playing in it, so it doesn't feel as bad as it felt when it was going on. But it was tough to watch.
Draymond, we know you went up to Paris for the final game, or final two games.
I went for the final game.
Final game, yeah. Just what was you've seen Steph do that many times, but to see him do it there at this stage in both of your careers, just what was
it had absolutely nothing to do with me.
Yeah, okay.
But to see him kind of embrace that moment, with the who's of basketball, especially over the last 20 years. And I think what I appreciated most about it was watching the guys that don't get to play with him, how their reactions to being on the same side as him. I thought that was pretty cool, to see him after all these years of not playing in the Olympics, and everybody's, Steph's never played in the Olympics. Is he going to do the Olympics? He's going to end his career not doing the Olympics. And to watch him go own that moment the way he owned the moment, only he can do that. He had a very pedestrian Olympics, and then he get to the final two games, and it's Steph, right? Like most people in his, if you're in that situation, most people, you get taken out of the lineup, you get, it doesn't end the way it ended for him, But with Steph, he wasn't shooting well, but you always know it only takes one, and he hit one, and you know what follows, and we saw it happen, and so I thought it was absolutely incredible to see. I was honored to be there for the moment, to watch him have that moment, and to witness that. It was amazing because all of the stuff he's done in the NBA is great, and everybody around the world knows him. Outside of America, I think everyone else takes the Olympics more serious. Like, if you go talk to most Europeans, they probably would rather win an Olympic gold medal rather than win an NBA championship. It's not that way for us growing up. You grow up in America, the goal is to win an NBA championship. All of a sudden you realize like, oh man, I may be good enough to play on Team USA. I want the opportunity to win an Olympic gold medal. Nikola Jokic grew up dreaming of winning an Olympic gold medal, not winning an NBA championship. To see him on that stage where everyone else in the world is watching that thing and like, that's the thing that you need to do in order to be this guy in our eyes. Michael Jordan went to Barcelona in 1992. Look what he did, right? Like you start to look at what those guys have done, and Steph needed that. And to watch him not only go get it, like we always say you play on Team USA, the hard part is making the team. Once you make the team, we're going to win. So you're going to get a gold medal. He made that his moment and getting the gold medal. And that was as special as anything I've ever seen him do.
You guys certainly recruited Paul George this summer, even tried to get it on the market, and that didn't happen. I was just wondering your perspective on those things not happening and what the roster kind of reconfigured to where it is today?
I like the way the job Mike's done with reconfiguring the roster. I thought Mike did it, and Joe and this organization, they did an incredible job of not panicking. In the moment where you feel like, you miss out on the guy or two, most people make a bad deal because everyone around the world, the microscope that's always on this organization for the last 10 years, it's still there. And everyone around has thoughts about what this team should look like, the makeup of the roster, who they think should be on the roster. And to see them stand pat and say, no, we're going to pluck away. We're going to sign a Buddy Hield. We're going to sign a DeAnthony Melton. We're going to sign a Kyle Anderson and just pluck away and chip away at it. I thought that was incredible. I thought it shows who this organization is, and it is a testament to Mike Dunleavy and who he is as a basketball mind, a guy who's grown up in the NBA his whole life. And like I said, in most situations you see someone panic and they make a move that set them back for 5 years. And you set one move in this league, it can pretty much set you up for how the next 10 years of your organization is going to go. And, sometimes the best deal you can make is to not make a deal. And I think, we did a great job in going out and getting pieces that's going to help this team grow, that will allow young guys opportunity to grow, and yet keeping the future of this organization as bright as it's ever been.
Did you enter this offseason thinking, considering how the past 2 seasons went, like we do need a little bit of a facelift, a bit of a changing with the roster?
I think every year, even when you win a championship, you need a facelift. The likelihood that you're going to win a championship, return with the same exact team and win again is hard because everyone is now building to beat that team that just won. And so my approach, it's no different than if you just won a championship. When we won a championship in 2022, that next year we were trying to figure out what moves can we make that are going to help us win a championship, because we won't go back again with this team and win another championship. That's just not the way it goes. And so I think the mindset is the same. Every year you go into the summer, you better be looking to get better. If you won a championship and you're not looking to get better, you will lose next year. If you didn't win a championship, you better be trying to figure out how to win it. And so I think my mindset is the same as going in every year. Like, all right, we didn't get it done this year. What can we do to possibly put ourselves in a position to get it done? Or we got it done, and it's about to be hard as hell to get it done again the next year. So I think you kind of got to be along that same mindset regardless of whether you win or lose.
And you said you aren't ever going to be 100% at this point, but how do you feel heading into the season, specifically mentally, considering a lot of what happened last year? Just how are you?
I feel great headed to the season. Mentally, I feel great. Physically, I feel great. The time off to get away from the game of basketball, have a break after the many years that we've been doing this is never too much of a bad thing. Try to find things that you can to keep your mind busy, but also make sure you're doing things to get better and staying sharp. And so just always trying to find that balance. But overall, going into the season, I'm excited. It's a new opportunity, new challenge. With Clay leaving here, things just look different. It feels different. It's not the same thing anymore. For so long, it's just been the same thing. And I think with it being the same thing, it makes it even tougher to perform at a high level, because it's like, the drummer usually gets mad in the band and the band break up, or the not the lead singer, but one of the next guys in line, they get upset and the band falls apart. That's because you get tired of doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and you get bored with chasing that greatness. And I think we did a great job of not getting bored chasing the greatness, always trying to give ourselves a chance to compete at the highest level and compete for championships. And now, we turn the page. And turning the page doesn't mean we're still not competing for the same thing. That's always the goal. But it's just going to look a little different now. It's not going to look the way it's looked for the last 13 years or 12 years. And that you go into it with a little uncertainty because after 12 years or something, you kind of grow accustomed to it. But at the same time, where there's the most uncertainty, that's usually the biggest opportunity for growth. So that's kind of where we are, and I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Draymond, over here. People worry about you. Fans, maybe your teammates.
Why they worry about me?
Well,
I am
they
a
say
successful black man in America doing incredibly well. What's the worry
They
about
worry
me?
about you.
There are way more people in this world to worry about than me, that's for
Right.
sure.
But we're here now. So,
We're all here. I don't think you should worry about me.
okay.
I'm doing pretty well. If you would have told me when I was 13 years old that you'd be sitting here and somebody would say they're worried about you, I would have probably told them they were out of their mind. I'd be sitting here and they'd be worried about me.
Well, they're worried from themselves, too. They want to know.
They don't feed.
They
them
know the
families with
team
this,
needs
so why
you.
are they worried?
Because they know the team needs you.
But they don't feed
and
them
they don't know if
their
you're going to be
families
here.
doing this. I'm here. I've been here for 13 years now.
If you're going to be here every night.
Been here pretty much every night for 13 years.
Not so.
Very much so.
Then you missed some.
We all have. Look, Kevon Looney played 82 games 2 years in a row, and everybody was celebrating. We all miss games.
No, what I'm talking about, they want to know if you're going to be here, like, mentally.
I'm always here. And suspensions, the guideline of getting suspended is something that's in place because it's a possibility. So
There's nothing changed in that respect.
I don't know what would change. Well, I don't get the question. I think my mindset has helped us do some great things. It's pretty cool. So it's all about how you spin it. I love how you try and spin it, but it ain't my spin to it, player. So yeah, it's good.
Draymond, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Ron?
Good, thanks. The four young guys, Kuminga and Moody, obviously going to their fourth year. What specifically can they do to take another step forward? And how much do you expect from Brandon and Trace now that they had their rookie season? There usually is a big difference coming in your second year, obviously.
What can they do differently? I think when you look at all four of them, from J.K., Moses, BP, and Trace, when you look at all four of them, I think from the time we first saw them to where they are now, all four of them, I think we can all see the growth. And on this journey, that's all you can ask for. The rate that growth happens, it varies for everyone. Steph Curry's biggest level of growth probably came between years 4 and 5. Like, that's when he started to really become Steph Curry. LeBron James was an all-star in year 2. You look at where the two are today, and I don't think you would guess that one was like that in year 2 and the other one became that in year 5 or year 6. But that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes, because it's not a direct science, It's lineups, which is based off coaching. Sometimes nothing you can do about that. It's shots that you're getting. Is coach running plays for you, or are you just getting your shots when the ball comes to you in the flow of offense? All of those things make a difference in terms of a guy's development and where they are in their careers. And so I think when I look at all four of those guys, the thing that I can appreciate most is their work ethics and where they are today as opposed to where they were when I first saw them. And all of them have made considerable strides. I think one thing that every young guy has to figure out, and I think those four have to figure it out as well, is what makes you an all-star in this league, what makes you a household name in this league. More important than anything is consistency. And I think when you deal with young guys, the one thing that you see wane more than anything is the consistency in which they do it. And that's because it's hard as hell to learn how to go out there and do that for 82 nights. 82 nights, then the playoffs. But once you become one of those household names and got to do it for 82 nights, then the requirements of everything else that you have to do, you're now learning and picking up on that. Those are all the things that we never take into account. When I was in my second year coming off the bench, the amount of asks that I had at media day, my sheet was probably filled up halfway. The amount of asks that it is once I started to become who I became in the league is 2 sheets long, full of things to do, right? Like, you're adjusting to all of these things. And the reality is the only part that people ever take into account is what they see you do on the basketball court. But the amount of adjustments that you can be dealing with in life, in your career. And for those young guys, I think they just have to embrace that. They have to approach the night, every single night, with the same intensity, the same mentality, understanding that I'm trying to reach this level of consistency that's going to make me a household name, that's going to make me indispensable role player, that's going to make me a superstar, that's going to make me an all-star. It's a level of consistency that they all have to reach, and I don't think either one of them have reached it yet, and I think that should be the goal for everybody. It's not about what you do, whether you go out and score 20 points a night or get 10 rebounds a night. That's not the most important thing. You're going to do one of those things, whatever the thing is that you're great at and that the team needs you to do. But what's more important is that you can bring that to that team every single night, because the guys around you are going to depend on you to bring that every single night. The coaching staff is their game plan is going to be based on you doing that thing every single night. And I think that's the biggest thing that young guys have to adjust to, and these 4 guys are no different.
I'm going to double barrel this, and I know it's early, but what difference do you think the new additions can make on this team? And is there anybody in particular among them that you're really curious or interested to play with to see what they can do?
I think new additions were the reason we won a championship in 2022. The signing of Otto Porter, the signing of Nemanja Bjelica, the signing of Gary Payton II, those new additions are what took us from a borderline play-in team to a championship team. I always tell people, and I'm sure y'all have heard me say this before, championships are won 6 through 10. Championships aren't won 1 through 5. We see great 1 through 5s all the time, and everybody in the world is like, uh-oh, watch out for that team. Look at that starting 5. How you going to beat that team? And then you get in the season, and they lose in the first round, and you realize, they ain't that good. That's because they were 1 to 5 dominant. The teams that you see that got a really good 1 to 5, but they're 6 through 10 is strong, those are the teams that are going to compete for championships. And so when you're speaking of the new additions, when I look at guys like DeAnthony, Kyle Anderson, Buddy, that's Nemanja Bjelica, Otto Porter. Those are guys that come in that I know exactly what I can sit here and tell you right now exactly what those 3 guys are going to bring to this team. We know. I know when we talked about the level of consistency with the young guys, I know the level of consistency that they're going to bring that at. That's what helps you get to conference finals, NBA finals. It's those guys. And no one ever gives them credit. It's the Derek Whites of the world. Derek White been getting a lot of credit over the summer, right? Like, he ended up starting for the Boston Celtics. But he was really brought in to be like 6th, 7th, 8th man, right? Like, that's the stuff that really pushes you over the top. Al Horford. Al Horford wasn't supposed to start on that team. Like, Porzingis was supposed to be the starter, right? Which makes Al Horford your 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th man. That's how you win championships, when you strong there. And so when I look at the new additions on this team, they're proven guys that's respected around this league, guys that you know what they're going to bring every night. And last time we added guys like that, we did what we love to do. So I like it.
Hey, Anthony. How was your off season, just in terms of what you worked on, and how are you feeling health-wise?
My off season was pretty good. I spent most of my time, honestly, up here, Monday through Friday, kind of working through everything in terms of, what I got to do to stay healthy, what I got to do to stay strong, just, on the court, off the court. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time with the organization this summer.
What was the free agency process like, and how surprised were you that they suddenly have money available where you were an option for them?
Yeah, they kind of came out early in free agency when it kind of first started. Had a meeting with me and my agency, and it was a really good meeting, and they made it real clear as terms of what they needed on a team, and I feel like all the things that they needed is what I provided, and I think it was both a mutual agreement. And they brought up the whole money situation too, understanding that this is one of the first few times they've had, I guess money to spend on free agents. So it was good. It was nice to show their excitement towards me, and it was nice to show their interest early.
Talked to Kerr, and he mentioned that watching you in a pickup game here, and you're getting the ball up fast. It's not sticking in your hands. Is that something that's natural to you? Is that something they're emphasizing? How do you think that all your game fits within what they do?
I think that comes kind of natural for me. I think pushing the ball up, pushing the pace, keeping the tempo high. I think it's tough for defenses to stop, and I think especially with this team and the movement and the undecisiveness in this team, I think that's what we need. I remember seeing a clip of Steph saying how it's 0.5 basketball and just keep the ball moving and keep moving around. So I've already played like that and just implemented that here.
How you doing, D'Anthony? Sam Gordon, San Francisco Chronicle. What do you like about your fit here within this group? And then what you kind of touched on a little bit. What was your perception of playing against the Warriors? Throughout the first part of your career.
Man, playing against the Warriors. I mean, you're gonna have a track meet that day. You better get some good sleep, get your stretches in, because you will be running. And matchups that I usually guard the Stephs and other guys recent years, top players. So. Playing against guys like that and playing against teams like that is tough always. But, I love it out here. I've loving my time so far.
How tough was last year for you physically? And, I guess where were you? It seemed like you were basically, about to get back towards the end of the year. So I guess how are you feeling off of that injury?
I'm feeling way better. I feel like I'm feeling way better. Last year was definitely tough, coming in. And coming out and all that stuff, going back and forth, trying to figure out my injury, trying to figure out what it was and, why I kind of lingered. But I think, like I said earlier, spending the whole summer up here pretty much Monday through Fridays, it definitely helped. It definitely, sped up my recovery, and they helped me build a strong foundation.
D'Anthony, over here. When people talk about you, one of the first things that tends to come up is defense. And is that your mentality? Is defense first and the other stuff will come, or what's your mentality there?
That's definitely my mentality. I love defense. I love playing defense. I love getting steals. I love getting stops. I feel like defense wins championships too. So that's always been my mantra, and I mean that's who I am.
And what did you do to get your back where you needed to be to play games, to play?
Just understanding that I needed a strong core, strong glute system to help me fire all that type stuff. So just staying up here and just working on that, strengthening that stuff really helped.
And knowing that you have on this team and Draymond and GP2, two guys that have that same defensive mentality, what's that like?
It's going to be fun. We just got to probably not gamble as much and stay solid with each other. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be intense. It's what we need.
And what are your early impressions of Coach Stack?
That's my dog. I ain't gonna lie. He beat me in a shooting competition like the first day, so I'm kind of mad about that still. But I'm waiting to get my rematch in. But we've had a great conversation so far about defense, about his life, his game, and everything like that.
Hey, D'Antoni. Sticking on the theme of defense, have you gotten a chance to kind of pick the mind of a Draymond Green, a Kevon Looney, guys that have done this at a high level and for many years at championship caliber basketball, or is that kind of a chance to test this out for training camp and get this big learning curve?
That's definitely what I plan on doing in training camp. Understanding where he gets his ideas, his knacks from, all that type stuff, tendencies for other players. I've got to spend some time with Loon recently, just playing pickup and stuff like that. So, but with Draymond, I'm definitely planning on picking his brain and everything like that. And my locker's right next to GP, so he gonna talk a lot to me.
Hey, D'Antoni. Colin Ward, Henninger, CBS Sports. Nice to meet you. You're a SoCal guy.
Yeah.
How do you like being back in California? and how do you like the Bay compared to SoCal?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I love California. I love the weather. I love the people here, the whole vibe, the culture. San Fran is different. I didn't realize how cold it was up here. I feel like I should know more, but yeah, I didn't realize how cold it was up here, and I'm still trying to explore the city. You know what I mean? I got a whole year to figure out what I like, what I don't like about the city. But I'm excited, though.
Kevon says that he's going to be shooting threes this year. Can you give us an update on what that's looking like?
I mean, he been shooting them in pickup, so him shooting the three ball, I'm with it. I'm with it all. As long as you shoot it with confidence, as long as you keep firing, don't get gun shy. That's all I care about. So I'm excited for him. I like to see the evolution of people's game. So if he's with it, I'm with it.
How's he look?
He look good. He look a lot slimmer. He looked like y'all remember his high school mixtape? He looking like that type slim. Yeah.
How's the shot?
Mine? Oh, his. Oh, his. It looked solid. It looked like he can work. That's all that matters. Mine don't leave me. I mean, she don't go nowhere, so that's why I love.
Who's first?
Obviously, you played against the Warriors many times. I'm sure you know how they play. What were your thought process when they approached you to come here, and what role do you think you're going to fill?
Just they play exciting basketball. Always, obviously, it starts with Steph. I think the continuity behind Steph, the guys playing the right way, just screening, passing. They've probably lead one of the, I say, for the past 10 years, leads the league in passing, just moving the ball and shoot a lot of threes, of course. It's exciting, I just always loved that style of basketball they've been playing for years. Even when I was in college, I used to go to the games when I was in Oklahoma and watch them. They play exciting brand of basketball unselfishly, and they play hard on both ends. And there's a winning culture here, so it was a no-brainer for me. Just like excited to play with those guys and just to be a sponge every day from training camp and just learn and watch and observe, and I found a way how I can fit in.
Hi, buddy. Janie McCauley from Associated Press. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
How much do you look forward to kind of feeding off the energy of Draymond and Clay and I mean Draymond and Steph, and picking up some of the scoring load that was lost with Clay's departure?
Just taking it one day at a time, learning, starting from training camp, learning how I can see myself fitting in. I don't, everybody says a perfect match, but you just got to take time, trying to figure out how I can, the passing, the cutting, the screening, just learning from Steph, learning from Draymond, Steve, coaching staff, the players, playing with Gary is fun too. Slow-mo, you got Melton, you get a lot of guys, Trace. You get Brandin, you just get figure out how I can be effective helping everybody score and feeding off all of them. It's gonna be. I think it's a fun adjustment. In basketball, you come to a new job, it's just learning people. They're all great guys, so I don't think it should be hard trying to figure out the tendency. Sometimes it might take some time, but it's fun.
Will this training camp being in Hawaii kind of benefit you and some of the new guys to bring the team together a little bit more?
Training camp is always fun regardless, you're just learning from everybody. And, it's Hawaii, of course, but I think that, getting over the guys and just learning about them and being on the plane, I start getting to know the guys because it's a long season. You run these guys more on your families, so I'm excited to be around them for sure.
How was the free agency process for you? Because I know you were, playing for the Bahamas at the time when it was all going down, and I'm sure it was kind of a...
Yeah, it was a little stressful. It was a little difficult. First time go around. Different CBA rules this year, too. trying to figure out the second apron, all that type of stuff. You know, we didn't understand it. It was different, but you know, we figured it out. You know, that's the main part about it. And like I said, man, I'm glad to be a Warrior. I'm excited to be here. Excited to learn from these guys. You know, I feel like God doesn't make any mistakes, and I'm here for a reason.
I mean, you mentioned the second apron and the rules. You probably couldn't have fit into their plans if some other stuff didn't go right. I mean, was it a surprise to you? Did you even think they were an option kind of entering July?
You know, me and my agent, she always tell me it's like everybody's an option. You know, you never keep nobody out. And me, did I see myself come out of California? No, I did not see it. But like I say, this is basketball. You know, anything happen any day, and the spot open when Clay and move, and it's a great match. You know, where we don't. I'm just glad to be here, and glad to be on a team and be able to learn from a championship organization. And I'm just excited to get ready to play.
Buddy, how you doing? Jason Dumas, Channel 4 here in San Francisco. You talk about adjustments and trying to fit in with the new teammates and catch all the cohesion. But I feel like you're at your best when you're being aggressive, when you're letting it fly. How do you kind of find that balance of, you know, adjusting and learning how to play with your teammates while also being aggressive and being yourself?
You know, it's always like a fine balance. You know, you just want to like overstep boundaries. You know, you're the new guy coming in, but I mean, I feel like nobody has a problem with me being aggressive. I think aggressive is good. And when you're out there, you just got to figure out your niche and just play in the continuity of the offense and the flow of the offense. And I think Steph plays with a great flow. Draymond plays with a great flow. Like I said, as a scorer, as me who like to shoot the three, I love watching the Warriors play. So I kind of have a feel what they like doing, and scouting for them is hard, you know. So Steph is always moving. So I'm a player who always loved moving too. So and I thrive off that. So I'm excited, man. Let's learn.
Hey, buddy. Steve Kerr said, with or without Clay returning to the team, the Warriors were going to need to add shooting regardless. Right. Have you had to have some extended conversations with him about what that's going to look like in terms of getting you to your spots and involved in a new kind of offense?
You know, just when that time comes to talk to Steve, I just take everything slow and just put my way in. You know, I don't want to rush things. I want to feel everything out, feel everybody out, the players, coaching staff, and just get to know everybody first. And then after that, when it comes to that conversation, to see like where I need to like exactly what we need, and I think that'll be fine.
Hey, buddy, you said you like to watch the Warriors, and can you explain a little bit about what it is you like about them? Is it the ball movement? Are they different than other teams?
Just what's so fun about them, the ball movement, the ball movement, and they're all unselfishly. They all play unselfish brand of basketball, and I think that everybody tries to play that ball movement from San Antonio days when they were like moving with Mano and Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, the way they move the ball, and it doesn't matter who's on the court, they all play the same brand no matter what. So that's the fun part about it, just being unselfish.
But I know some of the guys have been here scrimmaging last couple of weeks. Were you able to get in any of those scrimmages?
Yeah, a little bit.
What did you pick up from that? Was there anything you can't pick up from those things?
I mean, like, guys play hard. Guys are eager to get back in that championship mood, and it's just it's a certain level of seriousness here when I step in this building, and just piggybacking off everybody.
Have you been there with Steph playing in some of those?
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you been on the same team as him?
I can't remember. I don't know.
That spacing was what a few
It'll figure out itself.
Aside from team success, what's an individual goal that you have for this season?
I just get back to the playoffs, you know, with this group, and I think that, you know, when you have guys like Steph and Draymond and this coach like Steve Kerr and Wiggins and everybody, I think that, you know, they're always in championship mode, and you can't count them out. And just being a part of this team, I think that something special can happen.
Is there something personally that you're trying to prove?
No, just trying to win the championship. I think that's the goal for everybody, trying to win the championship in the NBA. I know you're here to win it all. You know, money, all of the stuff that comes with it doesn't mean nothing. But I think winning is what matters to me, and trying to win it all.
Buddy, we talked about you being with Bahamas when all this was kind of happening, and Chris DeMarco is the coach. Did you have conversations with Chris about this team, about kind of what to expect, what they instill?
Yeah. Before I made my decision, I was talking to Chris the whole time. I said, "What do you think, man?" He's like, "Man, I think it'd be perfect." You know, Chris been talking. He's been doing a little, not say a little recruitment. He just give me like a variety of like things that would be good for me in my future. if I came here, he never forced nothing, but he was telling me that, man, like, and to be honest, having a guy like Chris that I've been around all for the past 3-4 summers helped a lot too, because I understand them. I feel like a guy that I can talk to when things are not going well. So it made kind of sense too.
What are some of those things that he said that could really benefit you by coming out here?
I mean, it's talking the style of play mainly, and like the way what Steve likes and how they play, and what kind of value I can add to this team.
Similarly, was Clay with you guys at that time?
Yeah.
Did you also have conversations with Clay about this team? And was it before or after his departure? I can't quite remember. But
So see what happened with Clay. With Clay happened before everything started. That was like early June.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Clay didn't get that talk yet. But Clay's cool though. We're good buddies.
Buddy, there aren't a lot of teams that play this kind of system. Of all the systems that you've been in, what's the closest to the way the Warriors play?
I would say with Dave Yeager in Sacramento. When we were here, I don't know if you guys remember, I think the split screens and getting up fast, throw aheads, In Indiana, when we played in Tyrese, we were just fast, But I think that different was Dave Yeager and his split screens and just back cuts and all that type of stuff, kind of moving the ball X, Y, Z. But similar to Indiana too, but Indiana I think was just more downhill fast, trying to outscore everybody.
Thanks.
How you doing, buddy?
How you doing? You okay?
Good, man. Yes, sir. You came into this league as a shooter. I mean, out of college, out of Oklahoma, everybody saw you as a guy who can get buckets. But over the course of your career, what are the other aspects of your game you feel has, I guess, developed the most since college?
I think playmaking probably does, understanding reads. That's not always thinking score, and trying to make the right play for the right teammate. And I think this in the NBA, we all can go get a bucket, but it's just trying to get the best bucket. That's what coaches like. Is it a good shot? It's a shot we all can make, but is it the best shot for the team? So understand what's a good shot for the team, and generating good offense, and just playing the basketball the right way. That's it. Thank you. See you guys around. Blessings. Take care.
Hey, Kyle. Brandon mentioned that in scrimmages he said that your jump shot looks a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain some of the work that you've put in this offseason to maybe change your mechanics?
Yeah, just like I actually had the time this summer to put the work in on it. And as a professional athlete, whenever you're healthy in the summer, like it's one of the best feelings in sports. But I just worked a lot around the rim, just getting consistent with that, getting fluidity in that one motion, feeling comfortable with that a lot around the rim. It was super tedious, but like it started to pay off. Then I, got to 15 feet, working on that. With the same mechanics, not losing my mechanics, and then eventually we were able to work our way out to the 3-point line, and then it was just reps and reps and reps, and just getting comfortable with my shot really, and then just putting the work in really, workouts, shooting while I'm tired, things like that, and I think I'm at a pretty good place with it, ready to go into the season.
What inspired you to retool it now?
I just last season. Obviously, I shot the ball horrible, but the season before that, I shot 40%. I put a ton of work in to shoot the ball well that season. Not on a lot of attempts, but I put a lot of work in. Then last summer, I just didn't have. I wasn't healthy enough to work on my jump shot all season, so my mechanics were all messed up. It was a lot of stuff going on in my head. But like I said, being healthy enough to work on it this past summer is just that, that's going to help out my game a lot. So, I just had to get back to putting the work in, really.
And what role do you see yourself as having? How do you see yourself fitting into this team and the way they play?
I'm good, Rick. How are you? Everything's good with me. How are you? Good to see you. I think just bringing to the table what I've done my whole career, being an unselfish player, being able to. I think one of my best traits is being able to play with a lot of other good players. So I'm gonna be out there on the floor with a lot of guys who can score the ball. I'm gonna facilitate, get them the ball, and then focus on playing hard, defending, rebounding, things like that. Just that's some of the things from the outside looking in. You see the Warriors do at a really high level, and I think I can help out with that.
What's up, Kyle? I mean, you last year you're on a team that was like double big. Your front court's huge. This front court you're joining is kind of smaller, different. How do you view? I guess what did you learn from kind of playing, with two bigs, and what do you think this experience will be like?
Yeah, like you said, it's just two different things really. So like around the facility here, like Dre telling me like, oh nah, you a 5 now, like you're not a guard no more. You a center in this offense. So it's gonna be something I gotta get adjusted to, like not having Rudy out there, Big Cat out there with me, and just playing more small ball, I guess as you could say. I think I'd be more comfortable more in that setting, being a 4 or sometimes even playing at the 5 really.
So Kyle, your reputation is built on the defense and all of the teams play. So what's your expectation on the team's defense?
I think Golden State has always been a really good defensive team. So I think I'm just going to fit right in with that, really. I think something they do really well that I could do is switch 1 through 5. And I kind of pride myself on being able to guard 1 through 5. So I think I'm going to be able to fit in with that. Not easy, obviously, but, it shouldn't take too long.
Hi, Kyle. Chris Alvarez from ABC7 back here. Welcome to the Bay. I wonder what excites you the most about playing with Steph and Draymond specifically.
Yeah, what excites me most is just, the competitive spirit that they've always had. And, I've lost them a bunch in the playoffs, and, they're killers out there. Like, they want to rip your heart out, really. So I really enjoy playing with guys like that. And, they've won a lot of championships. They've had a lot of success. They do things the right way, or at least that's what you see from the outside looking in. So I'm interested to see, how they go about things, how they prepare for games, how they handle losses, things like that. It's very similar to like when I first came in the league and played with Timmy, Manu, and Tony. Really.
Hi, Kyle. Back here.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Draymond said that you are very consistent, and GP2 said that you have a very high IQ. When you hear things like that, how does that make you feel? And what do you feel that is special about your game?
Yeah, I mean, that's always good to hear, compliments from your colleagues or guys who you respect their basketball approach and their basketball IQ. Like, Gary was a point guard in college, Draymond a point forward in college. Like, I watched those guys from when they were, damn near in high school. So they I like to think they know what they're talking about. But as far as me, like I said before, I think my best trait is just being able, in the NBA game, being able to play with other good players. Like, I'm not a guy that's going to, I got to get my 10 shots. I got to get this and that. Like, if a guy's hot, I'm going to get him the ball. I'm willing to make the extra pass. And then if the game requires me to go score a few, then I can do that as well, too. So I think that's really my best trait. Just, you see so many guys come into the league and they don't know how to play with other good players. I think that's, what I'm really good at.
Sounds like you've been part of these scrimmages the last few weeks. What's been kind of your early impressions? Is there anybody or anything that has stuck out to you?
It's like two different things, being on the court with Steph and then being on the court without Steph. Like, this guy don't stop moving. Like, when you're on the team with him, and he might come out your side, you might have to be ready to screen your own man or set a screen for him. And as opposed to when he's not on the court, it's more like, okay, either guys look to go score on their own, or regular NBA basketball after that.
I mean, people kind of praise your, basketball IQ and ability to play within a system like that. But even for you, how much of an adjustment do you think that will be learning? Because, like you said, it's like almost a different type of sport.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to figure it out. I think I could play. I'm smart enough to play in any system, really. So I think I'm gonna be able to figure it out. And I got a really good feel for the game, so it shouldn't be too hard for me to figure it out on the offensive end.
You talk about Steph and how he just doesn't stop moving. Is there anybody else like that in the league? And if not, why don't more guys do that if it's so successful?
Nah, I don't really think. Maybe Buddy Hield is another one who's of that pedigree. I can't really think of anyone else though. Really, it's tiring playing like that. Like you have to be in really good shape to be able to move that much. Go on the defensive end guard, come back and be ready to move as much as he does on the offensive end again. So it's not easy to do.
What's it like guarding a guy? What's it like guarding Steph?
It's not fun. I've been on the other side a lot, and he is when he gets going, it's tough to stop. It's not much you could do. Anyone else?
As someone who's been in the playoffs before, do you think this team not making the playoffs last year, that long off season can be good for a team? You think?
Well, yeah. We in 2021, I think we came here and got the win in the playing game, and then 2022 they come back and go and win a championship. So I think that long off season, while teams are in the playoffs, guys get to work out and prepare for the next season. I think that definitely makes a difference for sure.
How you doing, Kyle? Sam Gordon, San Francisco Chronicle. You've played on some great defensive teams. The stated goal, Steve and Mike said they want to be top 5, top 6 defensive team this year. What are some hallmarks on the great defensive teams that you've played on?
It requires everybody really. Like 115 has to be ready to guard every night, and it's really a commitment you make in the beginning of the season, and then you stand by it every game. Like it's something you got to hang your hat on. Like you can't control shots not going in, or maybe someone not making an extra pass. It is what it is. But like defense is something you can control every night. Knowing personnel, knowing your assignments, knowing where you're supposed to be, things like that.
That last topic, how helpful is Draymond in that respect in terms of letting people know where you obviously have not played with him yet, but you've seen him. But what he does, what is special about
you could see him. You definitely see him in like a Kevin Garnett, like Bill Russell role, where he's always talking on defense. He's always pointing guys in the right direction. Tim Duncan was like that, and that was extremely helpful for everyone else. It's like a trickle-down effect. It's contagious. You get other guys talking. You get other guys helping guys out. So that's big time. That's a key to Rudy Gobert in the Minnesota situation last year. He's very similar in that way too. So when you have someone like that, you're more than likely you're going to have a good defense.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Gary. Yes, I plan on being available this year. So let's go ahead and get that out the way now. Feeling good, healthy. Body's feeling great. No hiccups this summer, no nothing. Ready to go. So let's get those out the way now.
Based on some of the things that the team did this offseason, and based on some of the ways that Mike and Steve were talking, it seems like defense is going to be a big priority this year and committing to the defensive end. How do you see... You're obviously going to be a big part of that, but how do you see this team and what they're capable of doing defensively?
We got a lot of, young, fresh legs. Reese coming in, Melton coming in, Kyle with his IQ is just. We have a lot of pieces that I think are going to blend together on the defensive end and use our brains on defensive end together better. So I feel like we have a bunch of numbers. We're pretty deep, I think, defensively. But like I said, some of the young guys is going to have to, get thrown in the fire and figure it out. But I feel like, we'll be good on that side this year. Transition defense and transition offense, I think, we'll do a lot better than we have been.
Gary, hi.
Hey.
What do you think it's going to be like without Clay for the first time? And what are you going to miss most about him?
That's probably a Dre or Steph question. They've been here the longest, but since I've been here, Clay's just been, Clay. I love, when come see his face comes in on the boat, see him on Instagram live, driving in practice. It's just his energy, on and off the court. Especially we're going to miss him on the court. You know what he brings. He's just a, tough shot maker, tough shot taker. So, you can't really duplicate that and what he does. So, we just come out and we're going to miss him, but excited to kick his ass pretty soon.
Hey, Gary, over here. People are talking about threes. Like Looney came in and said he's been practicing like crazy on his threes, and Podziemski is emphasizing that. And are you thinking that more too? Thinking more.
Yeah, always available and ready to shoot. Kind of working my way up from the corners. That's where I like to be. But if they're there, I got to take them. Seen Loon working on it. I know Brandon's going to take a few more this year. So just be ready. Just try to make as many as I can. But not emphasis, just shoot when I need to.
Gary, how's it going?
How you doing?
Good. You mentioned Brandon. Can you speak to the young guys, and particularly the guards, Brandon and Moses, and sort of what you've seen from them in the pre-camp games, and how much of a step you think they're ready to take?
Oh, absolutely. Brandon already showed that, last year out the gates, and he's been grinding and growing ever since. Moses has been doing that for the last 4 years, so not worried about Moses at all. Just when he comes in, he gives it all his all every time. And Brandon, he's just getting more confident, being out there, USA this summer. I think he picked up a lot at the USA camp, with all the great ones. So I think they're excited and ready to come out and, show what they've been working on. So not worried about them.
Gary, did you watch the Olympics? Not the Steph part, but just in general?
Oh, a lot of sports. Water polo, table tennis was crazy, actually. That was probably the funnest that I watched. Archery. Yeah, pretty much a lot of sports.
You ever watch and think you could have been an Olympic high jumper? Seriously?
Probably like 2 years ago. I probably could, but not anymore. No, I haven't. Water polo, though. I used to play water polo, so that's fun and dangerous, though, at the same time.
Kind of obviously came in with the emphasis that you plan on being available this year. How was your summer? How much playing were you able to do? How cleared were you most of the summer?
Oh no, I was good.
Yeah.
Ever since the came back from the SAC game, I messed up my calf a little bit, but after that, rehab for the next probably 2 weeks here before summer, and then I was good. Just trying to bulletproof everything and just get my body ready and prepare for this long season.
Best you felt since?
Oh yeah, I was good. It was probably my first summer in a few years without rehab and all that stuff. So I felt good moving around, doing stuff. So it was good. Oh, you guys.
Gary, over here, man. How you doing, man?
What's up, big dog?
This is probably the longest offseason this team has had in a long time. Did you get an itch early? I mean, did it feel like it was that long for you? Because I know you wanted some of that for rehab and stuff, but what was it like just to have so much time between the end of last season and training camp?
It was good, but in a way, like you said, it was the longest that I've probably had since I've been in the league, and a summer without, rehabbing and surgeries and all that stuff. So it was good, to get everything, put everything back together body-wise, and then, just sit and, just prepare, basically. Work on stuff that I need to. Had extra time to go do different things, get my body right. So it was good, but like you said, I think we're ready and itching to get back.
In the past, you've kind of said that your job is to, steal the ball, get it to 30, and maybe make an occasional three. When you go into this season, is that still basically the plan, or is that a few more things you want to try and do?
Yeah, with Clay gone, I think everybody's gonna have to step up and try to fill his presence and whatnot. So that's just gonna go down to second unit and whoever's gonna be in that starting lineup. Just to try to get us off to a good start. But yeah, I've been working on a lot of different things. More ball handling things. That I usually do is just wasn't needed at the time for the team. So I think we're probably going to need a little bit more extra stuff now that 11's gone.
Not to keep piling on the availability thing, but you said you were trying to bulletproof everything this summer. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Just get bigger, faster, stronger. Get my conditioning back up to another elite level, and I think that if I can do that, it'll cut out most of the little nicks and knacks and all the little things that happen during the seasons.
What's up, Andrew?
How you doing?
Good, man. How you?
I'm all right.
Talk to me about the haircut. Got to start there.
I just wanted a clean look for the season, and I feel like I might gain some years back.
Okay, what have you been working on this summer? Obviously, we know what happened with your dad, and sorry to hear that. But what has been your development process the last few months?
Yeah, I mean, just getting my conditioning right, shooting, ball handling, decision making, just getting stronger.
Steve and Mike both noted that they feel a level of like extra motivation this year. I mean, how are you feeling entering the season? How different, I guess, maybe from last year?
Very motivated. Just ready to get started and get it going.
Andrew, could you explain what happened with playing versus not playing this summer in the Olympics?
You said.
With you playing in the Olympics versus not playing, what happened there?
What do you mean by that?
You were, on the training camp team, and then it seemed like you were going to play, and then you did not end up playing.
No, I just had a little tweak. I had tweaked my ankle, and then training camp had started, so it was a little too late.
Did you want to play?
Yeah, for sure. I always love representing my country.
Andrew, how different do you think this team and this locker room is going to be without Clay? Obviously, such a huge presence, maybe not always the loudest guy, but a presence. Yeah. How different is it going to be without him?
It's going to be different, for sure. On and off the court, Clay's, a big presence. And, when you think about Golden State, you think about Clay, you think about Steph, you think about Draymond, So yeah, I feel like he'll always be that, that guy. But we're all going to miss him, and we know he's going to do great things over there. So,
hey, Andrew, over here in the offseason, did you stay in contact much with your teammates, Steph, Draymond, and those guys? And if so, can you tell us anything you guys might have talked about, like plans for the year, what you hope for, that kind of thing?
I mean, we check up on each other, see how everyone's doing, see how your summer's doing. But not like crazy chit chat.
You feel like you got to score more for this team this year with Clay gone?
More than they did last year, for sure.
Was last year more about? I mean, do you feel like you kind of were lost within the offense last year, or just had a bad year? I guess a combination of both.
All of the above. Yeah.
Kind of following up on what Slater just asked, but when you look back 2 years ago, how productive you were on that championship team, and in the past years, what needs to happen to kind of get back to that level for you?
Stay competitive, stay on top of my game, stay motivated, and every time I go on the court, just believe in what I can do.
Some guys, when they hit a little bit of a slump or whatever, when they're not playing at their usual peak level, they go back and look at video of themselves when they were playing at peak level. Do you do any of that stuff to go back and look at yourself and say, wow, I was nice here? I mean, do you do any of that stuff in terms of reviewing your own work?
Yeah, you see what you were doing, how you were doing it, what worked for you. Maybe you could have, trended the opposite way of what you were doing, so for sure.
Andrew, what do you attribute the last year or two to in terms of your performance compared to what we were used to seeing?
Shoot, couldn't tell you. A lot of things.
We read things in the paper. Steve Kerr talking and other players talking, and one recurring thing we hear is that you're in great shape. They think you look good. You seem to be in super shape. Can you tell us about that? Did you go deeper in that?
I mean, I just been working hard, this summer, trying to put myself in the best possible, position to, do well.
Hi, Andrew. What did Al Attles mean to you and his presence around here? I'm sure you got to know him a little bit along the way.
He's a legend. From coaching to GM to just being around everybody. He was a big presence, and just a legend around here, and I'm sure we're all going to miss him. Yeah, you don't see that. You don't see that. He was a special guy.
Aside from team success, what's the individual goal that you have for this season?
Individual goal, be more efficient than last year.
The All-Star game is going to be here next February, and obviously you were in the All-Star game a couple of years ago. How important would it be for you to try and want to be on part of the team since it's coming to your place?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Obviously I'm a strive for that. Work hard and do what I can to hopefully get there. But I just gotta stay consistent, stay on it.
What do you think it's going to take to do it?
We got to win.
One thing that Steve and Mike the other day said was that they want to feature you in the offense much more.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear that, what does that look to you, just from a basketball sense?
Getting me downhill, more threes, just being involved, in the offense, whether it's coming to me, whether I'm initiating something, it can be a lot of different things.
Andrew, this may sound silly, but to be more efficient, what are the keys? That was something you said a moment ago. Are there certain things that you do to try to make that happen?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, take good shots. That's one way. And I feel like aggression. When I'm aggressive, I get to the basket. Good things happen.
Does it matter to you whether you're playing the 2 or the 3? In some ways they're kind of interchangeable in some cases. What for you, what's the difference if there is any?
I feel like on this team it's the same thing for real. 2, 3, almost the same thing.
Anything else?
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Steve Kerr last week said that he can really say this is going to be a competitive camp. There are starting spots open. There are rotation spots open. I'm sure you've been in some of the pickup games. How competitive is it? Can you feel that? And can this team build from that?
Yeah, it's really competitive. I feel like as a coach, that's the best thing you can have is competitive, going into training camp, to compete for starting spots. I think the thing I like about our new guys the most is they all just want to win. And, none of them ever talk about starting, coming off the bench. They just want to win and are competitive in that way. And I think I'm similar in that way. So, whatever it shakes out to be, I think we'll all be fine with it and we'll all just do our part to win.
Brandin, for you, what's the biggest difference heading into a season last year as a rookie versus now having a full season and a full off season under your belt?
Yeah, I think my feet are already wet. I think I know what's expected of me. I think I know what the league is. I think I know just, what my teammates expect of me and think of me. So just going in there with that mindset of I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not trying to just find my way around like last year. So it gives me more clarity of what I should be doing. And that's kind of how I approached the offseason, knowing what my, expectations would be coming in year 2.
What do your teammates expect and think of you?
Yeah, they expect me to be a leader. I think, I naturally have those qualities of being a leader. And so being more of a vocal leader, but also showing guys in a positive light, leadership things, especially our new guys. And I think, just on the court, being a connector, as Steve likes to call it, and doing all the right things to help our team win.
Brandon, I know there's more to life than just basketball. Tell me about the offseason. I believe you up the road had a little bit of batting practice at the Giants, and you had a home run. Tell me about the experience of what that was like.
Yeah, that was definitely a dream come true for me. Obviously, you guys know I'm a baseball player at heart, so I love baseball, and being able to do that and hit a home run was super special for me, but especially my dad. It was a great experience. I got to do it at the Brewers Stadium as well a couple weeks back before that. So, anytime that you can do something that's fun for you, that takes you away from your job is something that, I enjoy to do.
Did you play like baseball growing up? High school?
Yeah, I did. Played all through high school. Stopped my junior year of high school, and then I've just been playing basketball since my senior year of high school.
And last, what was the position you played?
I played anything a lefty could play, so pitcher, first base, outfield, yeah.
Brandon, over here, how you doing, man?
What's up, Monty?
When you went through your rookie season, I mean, you got, I think, more minutes than maybe some people thought you would get because you were on the court a lot. But what do you take away from that season? What did you learn about playing in this league during your rookie year?
Yeah, individual, I think I learned that I could do a lot more. I think towards the back half of the season, end of March, early April, things started to slow down for me just on the court. I felt more at ease of what I was doing out there. And it was an exciting piece, but at the same time, we lost in April, so it's October almost now, so 5 whole months of working, which I think is good or bad, however you want to look at it. But I think for me, and especially our young guys, we've made significant strides in what we want to accomplish.
And how much attention did you pay to the playoffs once the playoffs got here, NBA playoffs, and did you watch it just to get a feel for what that's like?
Sure did. I went to a couple playoff games myself. Went to 3 Milwaukee games when they played the Pacers. So I got to do that. Got to be a media correspondent in the finals for Game 4. That was fun. So I just kind of got to see what it's like from your guys' perspective as media members, and then as players, what kind of they go through and how much more it is to just basketball. It's a lot of other stuff. So I had a good off season. Obviously, all that combined with the work I put in, ready to go for training camp.
Were you able to see, because guys always say it's a different game, were you able to see that when you watch the playoffs, that it's a different game than the regular season?
Yeah, I think just tendencies are more well known by the opposition. Obviously, the refs call a little bit differently. It's more physical, and I think the team that brings that feistiness and that energy usually comes out on top.
Brandon, how's it going? Right here. You talked about shooting more threes.
Mm.
How's that coming along? How have you sort of learned, not so much making them, but how to get them?
Mm.
And sort of separately from that, what did you learn? What did you pick up from the USA experience, Team USA experience?
Yeah, I think the first part of your question, watching back all the opportunities I didn't shoot last year, which were 2 to 3 a game, I think. Just watching what kind of threes Clay and Steph get up, more so Steph. So just kind of watching that, understanding that, making a three, impacts the game at such a high level that, if teams have to run me off the three-point line, now I become a playmaker, which I'm just kind of naturally good at. And so knowing that and knowing that the three-point line is such a, weapon in today's game, I knew that it was something that I needed to really focus on in the offseason, and that's what, Steve and Mike said. So the USA stuff was great. I think being able to play against the gold medal team and play against their guys for 3 days was an amazing experience for me and Trace. I know that. Definitely a confidence booster for sure. Just feeling like, you belong out there and you can compete with, anybody you step in between the 4 lines with.
2 questions. One, having been a media member now, what's your takeaway and insight into the job?
Yeah, I would never want to do it. It's hard. It's a lot of stuff. You got players that don't really want to do the media, so you got to be friendly, so I can never do it.
And the second part, you said you had a better sense now of what it is that you needed to work on over the summer. Can you be specific? Like, what did you hone in on? What do you now understand about how to prep that you didn't before?
Yeah, I think aside from a skills perspective, I think having a lot of conversations with Anthony Vereen, our summer league coach, and now our assistant coach, just how to be a more impactful leader and how to bring guys along with you. And I think that's something that Steph does really well. You know, everybody that's ever played with Steph, you ask them, who's the best person you've ever played with, and they always will say Steph. And I asked him why that is, and it's because he allows people to be themselves, but also when he has success, he brings them along with him. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, learning that, not really seeing that, right away, and AV kind of helping me out with that, is something that I've strived to do with the rookies we have, the 3-4 new guys we have. So just making strides in that area. And then from a skill perspective, just knowing that, I could score the ball, much more effectively than I did and in a lot of different ways than I did. And so just, honing in on the most efficient shots that I'm going to get during the year, and just getting better in that area.
How much have you been scrimmaging here with everybody?
Yeah, we've been scrimmaging quite a bit, maybe the last couple weeks or so. We'll be doing scrimmages maybe 3 days a week, something like that, 3-4 days a week. But it's been fun just to, play with different guys. It's never the same teams every day. So just to feel what kind of combinations work, who plays good with each other, and I think you'll probably see a lot of that during camp as well.
What do you feel like you've learned in those scrimmages, maybe about some of the new, free agent additions or maybe one of your returning guys?
We can shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can shoot. And
who in particular is kind of...
I think you guys would be surprised, but Kyle Anderson. Jump shot looks a little different. Looks pretty good. Obviously, Buddy shoots a lot of threes. DeAnthony can shoot a lot of threes. Lindy Waters shoot a lot of threes. So I think from that standpoint, we're filled out with guys that can shoot. And then, the defensive part, I think we picked up in that area, whether that be me, DeAnthony, Kyle. We've all kind of took strides in that area.
You talked a little bit about what Steph has brought to you leadership-wise on the court, in the clubhouse. How has that extended off the court, and has he given you any business tips since he's so involved in investments?
Yeah, I think it definitely translates from the locker room off the court. As a professional, you want to mimic what Steph does as a husband, as a father, as a businessman. Everything he does it the right way. And so anytime I have questions about anything non-basketball related, he's kind of the first teammate I go to and ask. And, he's done a great job of sharing those little things that can help me, down the road.
Hey, DeAnthony. JK, we've seen and heard all about all of your workouts this summer. In what area do you think your game has improved the most?
It's been a long summer. Now I'll say my game just improved on different aspect. Shooting, ability of shooting, just creating my own shot, just working on being a full, complete player. That's pretty much it.
Jonathan, bonjour. Une question pour Canal+, Canal+ question. We've just heard about the passing away of Dikembe Mutombo. How inspiring was he for you, for Congo? And do you have any personal memories with him to share?
It was a crazy news early in the morning. It's very sad. Great person. I got to meet him a couple times and share moments, and we all look up to him. Pretty much every Congolese kid, every African kid coming from Africa. One of the first Congolese to ever play in the NBA, to have somebody who had a great career. And if you look at things he did, just based off basketball, just how he helped build a lot of things in the country. He helped a lot of kids come in and reaching their goals. He was a great man, and it's just a very sad hearing that happen. We all going to miss him, and it's just very sad to hear that news. But he was a very great guy. Maybe a lot of people did not know he was, but once you sit down with him and just talk to him, he's a very happy person.
Jonathan, the other day Steve was saying how heading into this camp and this season, his starting lineup, the rotation is really kind of just up in the air. Everything's up for grabs. Is having that kind of battle heading into training camp doesn't change your approach, but is it nice to kind of say, like, anything is possible? You can go kind of get anything through this camp.
I'm not phased of him saying that. Doesn't affect me in any way. It just motivated me to just go out there and just do what I need to do, do things I always do, and see how it goes. I'm not worried about anything. I'm excited actually to just start.
You're entering your fourth year.
That's-
Entering your fourth year, how do you approach? Because it can be quite a swing year for a lot of players. What are you hoping to accomplish this season?
Just to have a great season. Have a great season. The better I play, the more helpful it is to our team, to everyone's success. So I'm just looking to go out there and just perform at the highest level and just help us win as many games as we can. Maybe looking at the bigger picture, as everyone goal is to win a championship or things like that. But I mean, it's too early to say that, but that's pretty much my goal. Just looking forward to go out there, share a court with the new players we just got, with some of the guys that have been here for a long time, and just having a great season.
Jonathan, when Klay Thompson left, Rocco also left. And I started to be lighthearted here, but most people may not be aware that you own 2 French Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
What is your relationship with them? How much do you love them? And just tell the world about these 2 pups.
The way I got them, it's very unique way, because that's around when I was in the G League, and we were in Walnut Creek. I was very lonely. It was quarantine time, and you couldn't have your teammate. You couldn't hang out with your teammates sometimes because of COVID, and I just chose to get one of them, and that one was kind of lonely too sometimes, so I had to get another one. And just having them around kind of helped. It helped me so much to just having something to, every time after work, practice or games, go back to and just looking or playing with them. And I love them so much, you know. I don't know. I love my puppies. I cannot even give them up to anybody. I love having them.
Your extension is obviously going to be a topic, possible extension. Do you think something might be able to get done in the next month or so?
Hopefully. Only God knows. I don't know what's going to happen, but it will be good. But that's not my concern. Like I said, just happy to be here. Happy to start a new season, 4th year. And things going let itself handle. So I would love to have it, but I'm not really concerned about it. If I get it, if I don't, it's cool. I'm still gonna be me and just go out there and perform. So that's not a problem.
We're hearing about these scrimmages, these pickup games. Have they been more interesting? Maybe because of you kind of got some new veterans coming in. Kyle Anderson, Melton, Hield. Has that made it more interesting? And what have these games kind of been like for you?
I haven't really participated into it much, but I've been watching from outside, and it's just seeing those guys being at it. The guys that have been in the league for a minute, they know how to play basketball, and I just can't wait to share the court with them, and because I feel like I'm going to help them and going to help me a lot. So I'm just looking forward to sharing the court with the new guys.
JK, over here.
There you go.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. You mentioned the long off season. Why did it feel long, and how was it good or bad?
My my off season wasn't bad at all. It felt very long because I ended up doing something new to my heart that I never thought of doing. But obviously, it was great for me. I got time to even know myself better. I got time to work on things that gonna help me succeed, that gonna help our team succeed. It was a great summer. I would say it was one of my best summers so far.
And when you say you got to work on yourself, you mean your game and just your whole self?
My game, knowing things that I like to do besides playing basketball, learning more about the world. Because, once you're stuck too much in basketball, you don't get to do different things. So just enjoying, just traveling, going to different fashion shows, and just meeting new people. And obviously, my new look. That's pretty much it.
Okay. The last thing is, how eager are you to get back to the game and to have games again?
I'm itching. I can't wait. I'm very excited, looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great season, so I just can't wait to start.
Jonathan, back here. What inspired the new look?
There's not that much inspiration to it. Like I said, I had a long summer. So that's it.
What are you looking forward to most about the trip to Hawaii, maybe off the court?
Off the court, just sharing a great time with my teammates, sharing the time with my family. Some of them going to fly out there, and just seeing what the city is about.
Hey, Jonathan. It sounds like you're going to miss Rocco a little bit, but what are you going to miss about having Clay around on a day-to-day basis?
I would say his personality. I think a lot of people don't know Clay. Who's Clay off the court? Is a great guy off the court. He loves to try new stuff. Clay is willing to try new stuff. As you guys saw, he went to Africa not long ago. That's who Clay is. He's just a very adorable person off the court because he enjoy spending time with people. He enjoy talking to people. He actually very smart. And that's pretty much what I'm going to miss about Clay. Just his personality. He's a great person.
Jonathan, as you look ahead to your fourth year, how much confidence, how much sort of momentum do you take from last year? I mean, you clearly took a big step forward last year. How much does that sort of carry over mentally, emotionally, confidence-wise?
Just going to my fourth year. I mean, just the way things ended up last year, that just gave me a lot of confidence. Knowing what the NBA is about, helping me even get better at my game and being more confident, being around all my teammates playing for this organization, just knowing what I could do. And it helped so much, like just seeing what I did last year. It's like things in motion by getting better. So it's just helping me to learn the game even better. Going to my fourth year, knowing what I need to do to succeed, or what I need to do to help my team win games.
And if I can ask a quick follow-up, and how much a license or need do you feel to be more aggressive scoring, not just because you did it last year, but with Clay gone? I mean, as much as you liked him and connected with him, there's a lot of offense that vanished when he left.
That was even a case of this summer, just working on being one of those guys that they could rely on one of those nights to go out there and help them win it. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm very comfortable just coming out there and just being one of those guys that could score, that could put pressure at the rim and help us win.
How important do you believe the development of the young core is going to be for the ceiling of this team this season?
I still believe. I believe in all the young guys. I believe on just seeing their progressions, sharing moments with them, especially including me, being around, seeing how everyone is progressing. It's amazing to watch, and I think a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but there's gonna be time. Every good things come out to light, so just gonna see it, cause I see it. I got to share a moment with all of us, me including, as a young player here, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
What are your Bulldogs' names?
What happened?
What are your dogs' names?
My first one is Dior. My second one is Prada. See? All right, guys. Thank you.
What's up, Kevon?
What's up?
How I know you've kind of talked about maybe altering your game some this year, particularly on the offensive end. Like, what do you think that actually looks like, in a game potentially this year?
For me, just being more aggressive, taking open shots. I probably in the years past I would turn down 5 before I took one. So being more aggressive, shooting more threes. More threes for me is actually shooting one a game, 1 or 2. So I'm gonna start there and see how things go.
I almost think you're almost never actually out standing at the 3-point line. Do you expect that? I mean, that's almost a strategic thing. Do you think you'll be planted out there at times?
I'm actually out there a lot. I mean, I'll be at the top of the key, and I would instead of looking at the rim, I would just go do a handoff or something like that. So just looking at the rim more, being more aggressive, and our offense probably be a little different. We got some new coaches, and they're gonna probably implement some new things. So just seeing where we add to our offense, and kind of see where I can incorporate stuff I worked on this summer.
Kevon, did that just switching up your game, adding to your game, I should say, did that come directly from the coaching staff? Was it a collaborative thing? What made you really want to pivot in that direction?
Just seeing how the game is going, what our team needs. I know for the reasons we talked about it a little bit. I know what kept me off the floor in big situations, and I want to take it to the point where my offense is the reason I can't be in the game. So I want to try my best to try to be on the floor as much as possible, and being able to shoot the ball, be able to score is a big thing in the NBA, and you can't play if you can't do that. So I'm just trying to improve and extend my career as long as possible.
Following up on that, and Steven here the other day was saying, he doesn't really know what that starting lineup is going to look like yet. You mentioned not being on the floor all the time. What conversations, if any, have you had with the coaching staff about what they want to see from you, what your role will be as you kind of head into camp in the season?
None really. And we haven't really talked about roles. We just compete in camp, and I kind of know what they expect from me. Like things I worked on this summer, I want to add, but they expected for me to do the things I've always been good at, which is rebounding, defending at a high level, and being vocal and different things like that. So I'm gonna continue to do that and try to incorporate the new things that I added. But we haven't went over roles and everything yet.
Hi, Kevon. How you doing? What do you think is reasonable to expect from the young guys? I mean, there's been obviously Jonathan made a lot of progress last year, and Brandin and TJD both had good rookie years. Moses is there. How much of a step can they take, and how much do you guys need those for to kind of leap forward?
The sky's the limit for those guys. They're young, but they're talented. They're proving that they can play in this league and play winning basketball. We're gonna need them for us to reach our ultimate goal and take the next step and really be really good and really compete and continue. We need those guys to play a lot of minutes and play at a high level. So they put in the work this summer. They've been looking great. We just got to put together as a unit, and everybody has to play at their best for us to be a good team.
Hey, Kevon. Everybody kind of knows about Steph, Clay, and Draymond over the years, but you became, one of the leaders on this team as well with your tenure here. Just curious how you think you guys can fill the leadership void that's left with Clay leaving the team.
It's not going to be easy. A guy like that, he's been here for he was here for a long time. He helped build a special team in Dynasty, and his spirit was always going to be missed. But he's been a great mentor to a lot of young guys, and he kind of showed us the Warrior way and how to play and how to carry yourself. So for me, Moses, BP, got to play with him, JK, we all learned from him. So we'll be able to, it's not a one-person thing. You just got to kind of carry it. And, Steph and Draymond are already terrific leaders. So something that you can't just replace. But I think we have the people and the character in the locker room to keep it moving forward.
If I can ask a follow-up question, you said you've been playing with those guys, obviously the young guys. Anything from one or two of them you've seen that's different? Anything they've added to their games that would allow them to take that step forward you talked about earlier?
I mean, from playing, I got to see Moses play with him. Just him scoring the ball, him being more confident about getting to his spots was really exciting to see, and his level on the defensive end. JK, just his poise, his patience, something that I've been seeing in his development. Then watching BP and Trace during Summer League and seeing how they was able to control the game and win a lot, have a huge impact on both sides of the floor is it's going to be big for us. So just watching them guys develop and grow and come more mature and more have a better IQ on the court is very exciting to see.
Loon, what exactly did you do this summer to work on that three? Who were you working out with, and how many shots were you taking? Can you get the details?
I was down at UCLA working out with my guy Jared Cook. Shot a lot more threes. Probably 400, 500 every day. In the past I would shoot some, but that wasn't my focus. I would just do light spotting, but after watching a lot of film and seeing where I potentially might get shots from, watching where Draymond might get a three from, or last year watching where Dario might get a three from, just watching those different spots, seeing how I would get there, and really focusing in on those type of shots. And I'm still not going to be out there hunting threes. Like, I'm not going to be out there like Clay or somebody, but I just want to be able to, when the time has come to space the floor, to be able to make an open shot, practicing getting threes out of rhythm. I'm not just getting to catch and shoot all the time. So learning how to do it off a pick and pop, doing off a ball reversal, doing when a guy's not holding you, you getting dare shots. Just learning how to get in the flow. And I played a lot of 5-on-5, so just doing it out there as well.
What's the technique too on the threes?
I wouldn't say so much technique. I always had a good foundation for the three, just about more of a mental thing of actually shooting it. It's you always can improve on your technique and on my base and my form and my follow through, small things like that. But for me, it's just more about just shooting it and shooting it with confidence.
Quick first one. You shot the three a little bit at UCLA, right, when you were playing?
Yeah, I shot 40%. I shot really good at UCLA, but that was a long time ago.
Second one, I just want to remember that when you said that. What was it like watching Steph in the Olympics do what he did? You've seen it obviously up close, but to see him do it on that stage, and then also see him sign the 1-year extension to tie himself to this team for another year.
It was exciting. Especially when we won a lot of no basketball on, but that's the best time to watch, and for him to put on a show on the biggest stage when the pressure is on is what I expect from him. But it's always fun to see. It's always fun to see how he can top himself, how he can outdo what he's done before, and he always kind of finds a way to put on a new show. So it was fun to see, and for him to sign an extension, that's great for our team, great for the Bay Area, and great for his organizations. He's been a pillar of the community and a pillar of the NBA for a long time, and we want him to play here in the NBA as long as possible.
Steve's really kind of pumping up the idea of it's a camp competition. Starting spots are open everywhere. I mean, you've kind of always kind of been in a competition in a sense, but do you feel this camp that there is more team-wide, minutes available, starting spots, everything?
Definitely, it's a lot more uncertainty when you lose a piece like Clay, then you add a bunch of new faces. Team is in different directions, so we got a lot of young talent. We got a mix of veterans and young, so it's gonna be fun. It's just basketball, and we all love to compete. Training camp is always a competition, so it's gonna be fun. For me, it's always kind of the same. I always got to compete. We always had competition for the center position. So it's nothing new for me, but it's gonna be fun, and we got a chance to be really good, and we're deep, and that's a good problem to have.
A little different camp this year, being in Hawaii. How did you react when you found out? And then what are you hoping to get out of that experience being with the guys away from here for, a week or so?
It should be fun. When I seen it happen, this is my first time doing it, like to actually start training camp somewhere else. We done traveled like after a week after being in training camp, but to actually start somewhere else is going to be a lot of fun. My first couple of years, one of my agent kept saying, "Oh, yeah, I heard y'all going to Hawaii." For like 5 years in a row, we never went. So for it to actually happen in year 10, it's going to be fun. Especially with a lot of new faces, get to bond, get to know each other better, spend a lot of quality time. When you're at home, you kind of get stuck in your routine that you do at home. But when you're on the road, you get to really lock in and go to dinner more and really hang out. And we're going to need that with all the new guys and to build that new chemistry.
10 seed and 46 wins last year. What do you think is a realistic expectation for this group?
I mean, when you got Steph and Draymond winning it all is always what you want to happen. We feel like we got the talent, but we still got a lot to figure out, a lot to do. But we got to win the championship. You got to make the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs last year, so for me, I'm just saying we're gonna start there, but make sure we making the playoffs. Hopefully, getting the home court advantage and see what happens.
Did you say 10th season?
It's about my 10th year. Yeah.
Is that shocking to you, or can
Yeah, it's not shocking. I always had faith, but it might be shocking to some people. But I feel like I put in the work to have a long career. I'm still only 28, so I feel like I got some time left, and hopefully I can play a long time. Maybe not as long as like Steph or somebody, but maybe like get to 14, 15. That'd be awesome.